Let's get one thing straight. When we talk about the cloud, we are not discussing those puffy white things you see in the sky. Instead, think of it as someone else's computer. More specifically, it is a vast network of powerful servers scattered all over the globe that are owned and managed by companies like Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. These servers store massive amounts of data and run all sorts of applications. You are likely using the cloud right now without even thinking about it. That email you just checked, the photo you uploaded to social media, or the film you streamed last night, all of it lives and breathes in the cloud, a digital space accessible from anywhere with an internet connection. This concept isn't as new as you might think, but its scale certainly is. In the old days, a company would have its own physical servers tucked away in a dusty room down the hall. This required a lot of space, a lot of electricity to run and keep cool, and a dedicated team to maintain them. The cloud changes that entire model. It allows businesses and individuals, for that matter, to rent computing power and storage space from a specialized provider. It is a bit like choosing to rent a flat instead of buying a whole building. You get all the benefits of the space without the headache and expense of owning and maintaining the infrastructure yourself. Imagine your computer's hard drive, but instead of being inside the box on your desk, it is a tiny slice of a gigantic, professionally managed hard drive in a secure facility, perhaps thousands of miles away. That is the essence of cloud storage. The same principle applies to software and processing power. Instead of installing a program directly onto your local machine, you can run it directly from your web browser, with all the heavy lifting being done by those powerful remote servers. This shift from local to remote computing has fundamentally revolutionized how we work, play, and connect with one another in the modern digital age. So, in simple terms, the cloud is a global system of remote servers that provides on-demand computing services over the internet. It is a utility, much like electricity or water. You just plug in and use what you need, when you need it, and you typically only pay for what you consume. This model offers incredible flexibility and power, allowing even the smallest startup to access the kind of technology that was once the exclusive domain of corporate giants. It is a democratization of digital infrastructure, and it has become the invisible backbone of our increasingly online world, making everything more connected and accessible. So why are so many businesses scrambling to move their operations into the cloud? The primary driver, as is often the case in the corporate world, is money. Running your own data center is phenomenally expensive. You have to buy the servers, pay for the software licenses, rent the physical space, and cover the massive electricity bills for power and cooling. On top of that, you need to hire a team of skilled IT professionals to manage, maintain, and secure the whole operation. By moving to the cloud, companies can slash these capital expenditures and switch to a more predictable operational expense model, essentially paying a monthly subscription fee instead of a massive upfront cost. Another huge benefit is scalability, a word that gets tossed around a lot in boardrooms. Imagine your company's website gets a sudden, unexpected surge in traffic. In the old model, your on-site server would likely crash under the strain, leading to lost business and frustrated customers. With the cloud, you can automatically scale your resources up or down in a matter of minutes. Need more power for a big product launch? You can get it with a few clicks. Is business slow in the off-season? You can scale back down to save money. This elasticity means businesses are never paying for resources they are not using, and they always have the power they need to meet demand. Then there is the matter of collaboration and flexibility. With data and applications hosted in the cloud, employees can access their work from anywhere in the world, on any device with an internet connection. This has been the engine behind the massive shift to remote and hybrid work models. A team can have members in London, New York, and Tokyo, all collaborating on the same document in real time. This level of accessibility fosters a more dynamic and productive work environment, breaking down the physical barriers of the traditional office and allowing companies to hire the best talent, regardless of their geographical location. Finally, cloud providers offer a level of reliability and disaster recovery that most individual businesses could only dream of. These massive data centers are built with multiple redundancies for power, cooling, and network connectivity. They are also geographically distributed, meaning that if a natural disaster strikes one location, your data is safely replicated in another. For a small or medium-sized business, building this kind of resilience on their own would be prohibitively expensive. By leveraging the cloud, they gain enterprise-grade security and uptime, ensuring business continuity even when the unexpected happens. It is a powerful safety net. Now that we understand what the cloud is and why it is so popular, let's talk about how to protect it. Cloud security, in its simplest form, is the set of policies, technologies, and controls deployed to protect the data, applications, and infrastructure involved in cloud computing. It is essentially the digital equivalent of hiring security guards, installing CCTV cameras, and fitting reinforced doors on that remote data center we talked about. Since your company's most valuable assets, its data and intellectual property, are now stored on someone else's computers, ensuring those computers are secure becomes a top priority for any sensible organization. It is important to understand that cloud security is a shared responsibility. This is a crucial concept. The cloud provider, like Amazon Web Services or Microsoft Azure, is responsible for the security of the cloud. This means they are in charge of protecting the physical hardware, the network, and the core infrastructure that runs their services. However, you, the customer, are responsible for security in the cloud. This includes securing your own data, managing who has access to it, configuring your applications correctly, and protecting the user accounts that connect to your cloud environment. It's a partnership. The provider gives you a secure building, but you're still responsible for locking your own front door. Think of it like this. The cloud provider builds a secure bank vault with thick steel walls and a time-locked door. That is their job. Your job is to decide what you put in your safe deposit box, who gets a key, and to make sure you do not leave the key lying around for anyone to find. Cloud security involves managing these keys, which in the digital world are things like passwords, access permissions, and encryption. It is about setting up the rules that govern how your data is accessed and used within the secure environment that the cloud provider has supplied you with. Ultimately, cloud security matters because a failure can be catastrophic. A data breach in the cloud can lead to devastating financial losses, severe reputational damage, and hefty regulatory fines. Customer trust, once lost, is incredibly difficult to regain. In an era where data is often a company's most valuable asset, protecting that data is not just an IT task, it is a fundamental business imperative. Strong cloud security ensures that a company can take full advantage of the cloud's benefits, like cost savings and flexibility, without exposing itself to an unacceptable level of risk. It is the practice that makes safe cloud computing possible. The importance of cloud security has skyrocketed in recent years for a very simple reason. That is where the data is. The mass migration to cloud services, which was already well underway, was massively accelerated by the global pandemic. Overnight, organizations had to support a fully remote workforce, and the cloud was the only viable technology to make that happen. This rapid and sometimes rushed transition meant that vast quantities of sensitive corporate and customer data were moved into cloud environments. This concentration of valuable information has made the cloud an incredibly attractive target for cyber criminals, who are always looking for the biggest prize. Furthermore, the nature of cloud environments makes them uniquely challenging to secure compared to traditional on-premise networks. A traditional network had a clear perimeter, a digital wall around the company's assets. Security was focused on defending that perimeter. The cloud, however, is borderless by design. Data is accessed from anywhere, on any device, by employees, partners, and customers. This distributed and dynamic environment creates a much larger and more complex attack surface. There is no single gateway to defend, but rather thousands of potential entry points that must all be monitored and secured continuously, which is, honestly, a far more difficult task. The increasing sophistication of cyber attacks also plays a significant role. Attackers are no longer just lone hackers in a basement. They are often well-funded, organized criminal enterprises or even state-sponsored groups. They employ advanced tools and techniques, including artificial intelligence, to automate their attacks and find vulnerabilities at scale. They specifically target cloud services because they know a single successful breach can yield a massive trove of data. The stakes are higher than ever, and the adversaries are more capable, which means defensive measures must be proportionally stronger and more intelligent to stand a chance. Finally, regulatory pressure is a huge factor. Governments and industry bodies around the world have implemented strict data protection regulations, such as the GDPR in Europe and the CCPA in California. These laws mandate that organizations take robust measures to protect personal data, regardless of where it is stored. Non-compliance can result in eye-watering fines that can cripple a business. This legal and financial risk means that cloud security is no longer an optional extra or a concern just for the IT department. It is a board-level issue that carries significant consequences for the entire organization's health and survival. One of the most frequent problems IT professionals face is simple misconfiguration. Because cloud platforms offer a bewildering array of settings and options, it is frighteningly easy to get something wrong. A classic example is the misconfigured Amazon S3 bucket. These are storage containers that, if not configured correctly, can be left publicly accessible on the internet. Countless major data breaches have occurred, not because a sophisticated hacker broke through complex defenses, but because someone accidentally ticked the wrong box and left the digital door wide open for anyone to wander in and take what they wanted. It is the digital equivalent of leaving the keys in the ignition with the engine running. Another major headache is managing identity and access. In a large organization, you might have thousands of users, employees, contractors, and automated services, all needing different levels of access to various cloud resources. Keeping track of who has access to what, and ensuring they only have the minimum permissions necessary to do their job, a principle known as least privilege, is a monumental task. If an employee's account is compromised, or a former employee's access is not revoked promptly, it can provide an attacker with a direct path to your most sensitive data. Managing these digital identities effectively is a constant and complex battle. The rise of shadow. IT presents another significant challenge. This occurs when employees use cloud services or applications without the knowledge or approval of the company's IT department. For instance, a marketing team might start using a new file-sharing service to collaborate with an external agency because it is quick and convenient. While their intentions may be good, these unsanctioned services are outside the control of the IT team. They are not monitored, they may not meet the company's security standards, and they create blind spots where sensitive data could be exposed without anyone even knowing it is at risk. Finally, there is the challenge of visibility and compliance. In a complex, multi-cloud environment where a company might be using services from AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud simultaneously, just getting a clear picture of what is happening can be incredibly difficult. IT teams struggle to monitor activity across all these different platforms in a unified way. This lack of visibility makes it hard to spot suspicious behavior, investigate security incidents, and prove to auditors that the company is complying with all relevant data protection regulations. It is like trying to watch a dozen different security monitors at once, each with its own unique interface and alert system. To combat these challenges, IT teams must adopt a multi-layered security strategy. A foundational practice is to rigorously enforce strong identity and access management, or IAM. This begins with implementing multi-factor authentication, MFA, for all users, without exception. MFA adds a crucial second layer of security beyond just a password, such as a code from a mobile app, making it significantly harder for attackers to compromise an account. Alongside MFA, IT teams must adhere to the principle of least privilege, regularly reviewing permissions to ensure users only have access to the data and systems they absolutely need to perform their roles. Another critical strategy is to automate security and compliance checks. Humans make mistakes, especially when dealing with the complexity of cloud configurations. Using specialized cloud security posture management, or CSPM, tools can be a game changer. These tools continuously scan your cloud environments for misconfigurations, security risks, and compliance violations, and can often remediate them automatically. This automated approach helps to catch issues like publicly exposed storage buckets or overly permissive access policies before they can be exploited by an attacker, providing a vital safety net for busy IT teams. Data encryption should be non-negotiable. Data must be protected at all stages of its life cycle, when it is sitting in storage, at rest, and when it is being transmitted over the network, in transit. Most cloud providers offer robust built-in encryption services that are relatively easy to enable. IT teams should ensure that encryption is turned on for all sensitive data by default. This means that even if an attacker manages to gain unauthorized access to the storage system itself, the data they steal will be a garbled, unreadable mess without the corresponding decryption keys, rendering it useless. Finally, education and a strong security culture are paramount. Technology and tools are essential, but the human element is often the weakest link. IT professionals should conduct regular security awareness training for all employees, teaching them how to spot phishing attacks, the importance of strong passwords, and the dangers of using unapproved shadow IT services. Creating a culture where every employee sees themselves as a part of the security team is one of the most effective defenses. When people are vigilant and know the right procedures to follow, they can prevent security incidents before they even begin. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, drop your thoughts or questions in the comments, and subscribe to the channel for more tips and tutorials. Your support helps us keep creating valuable content.